people actually may be really smart in their own language, right? But when they sort of try to talk to someone else in another language, right, they may not be able to put across their points the right way. Right? So this could really help that. And
I don't know how many of you saw the Google I/O video, which is talks about. Let me just play. This is about. That guy who came out of water reminded me of Singham. Short.
Language is a very interesting problem to solve actually. And given India has a huge variety of languages and it changes every 5 kilometers.
When technology is developed for a particular culture, it won't be able to solve and understand the nuances of a country like India. One of GEMMA's features is an incredibly powerful tokenizer, which enables the model to use hundreds of thousands of words, symbols, and characters across so many alphabets and language systems. This large vocabulary is critical to adapting GEMMA to power projects like Navarasa.
Navarasa is a model that's trained for Indic languages. It's a fine-tuned model based on Google's GEMMA. We built Navarasa to be large language models culturally rooted, where people can talk in their native language and get the responses in their native language. Our biggest dream is to build a model to include everyone from all corners of India.
तो हमें AI को यूज करके कैसी टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए कि कोई भी पीछे ना रहे और हर कोई इसको यूज कर सके.
Today, the language that you speak in could be the tool and the technology that you use for solving your real-world problems. And that's the power of generative AI that we want to bring to every corner of India and the entire world.
What do you guys have to say about it? We've been talking about technology being accessible to a lot of people and language being a barrier. We have done a lot of work at Pace Wisdom as well, supporting multiple applications and multilingual support and things like that. But GenAI, I think, will take things forward.
This is also one of the places where India is approaching this problem very differently than others, right? So a lot of this is also that's a similar approach by the Indian government. The Bhashini model, right? Azan, you would have, or Atul, you would have kind of heard about it, or this thing. So India's kind of thinking about this more like an infrastructure that's needed, right? So as part of the larger initiative, this is infrastructure that the government or the funded organization is going to provide, so people can essentially build on top of it, right? Just like how roads or railways or the tracks or something like that, there's all infrastructure that takes massive amount of cost to kind of build them. So this is one of those initiatives where India is probably doing it right, where I think last I checked there were 16 languages or something like that that's already available. So that's pretty amazing, right? I mean, unless it was done by in this way, I think there wouldn't be any moat, and for anyone else to be interested in doing something like Kannada or something like that, right? But that's hardly 6 crore people who actually speak Kannada or something like that, right? So the target audience is so small for someone else, it's not even worth investing on it. But for India, it makes sense for us to kind of invest on something like this. I think that's where, if I'm not wrong, some of this is also based on what previous work that's already been done by the Bhashini Foundation, right? So that's essentially end of the day, the way we consume content is essentially mostly in our native language, right? And language becomes a key connector. It's not only just a medium of communication, but it's also emotions and relationships and everything else, right?
So it should not end up being something you have a translation engine coming in. Let's say a model which thinks in English builds the whole AI engine thinks in English or a different context or culture, but when it comes to Hindi, it is just translating. That shouldn't be the case. It should.
that's why they're
No,
they're building this, Razan. So I think they're natively training it in
Yes,
those in that script,
languages, yeah, in those
basically, right?
tokens.
In that script, right? So they mentioned the tokenization is happening on the native language, and I think, see, like Mohan said, the need is at large here in India, because like the variety of dialects and languages and all that, and this will really break down the barriers that we have between two people talking in different languages, right? Like some people actually may be really smart in their own language, right? But when they sort of try to talk to someone else in another language, right, they may not be able to put across their points the right way, right? So this could really help that, and I think Indian government taking its own stand and going out to create the infrastructure for this is like, I mean, it's the right thing, and I think government should. I mean, this will help a lot, because I think, I mean, using private companies doing this may not. I mean, they won't have like a motive to do this, right? Because I mean, you preserving culture and stuff is generally not part of their motive, but governments do have the motive of preserving culture and languages and all that. So this clearly aligns with it. So I mean, it'll be supremely helpful.